Like, I've noticed that you guys, I do have 5 views. I'm gonna monetize it. Yeah, sure. So anyways, so we should be here. At least most of us, right? For the most part. So this is what we're gonna do. And going back to this, we have to be more careful where we're marking, and especially where apex is at, because all of this needs to match the next panel. So I'm just gonna true it, same thing. I like to do dots, not dashes, just because it looks neater. And it gives me more leeway on what I want to do with the pattern. So remember, I am doing the top of my tape. You're doing the bottom tape. Stick to your tape. Okay, so we're gonna follow the princess seam. Always really mark that apex as much as possible. Yes, because that's one of the hardest points to actually sew sometimes, to get that rounded shape without poking. I don't really need to know where the underbrush, but sometimes I just do it because when I do notches, it just helps me know where I need to curve it out or snap or snip it. I'm just gonna go here. I do the bottom of the tape of the waistband and make sure it's really well marked. Okay. Now we're gonna do all the way to the bottom. And then mark where the top of my hip, wherever you want to decide, just be consistent, but just mark it, because we're gonna be drawing a line straight. And all of this needs to match. Why is one way to let us know that we are balanced. And now, once we mark all of that, all major notches, so our major notches are gonna be apex, underbust, waist, hip. I'm gonna take this out. And then the armhole, of course, and the neckline, we already did that. And now this is the stuff that I know everyone's getting used to, the French curve. Now, you see in paper, it just curves very slightly. That's when we need to definitely use a French curve. But first, we're gonna do the neckline. And going back to what we discussed, we always square our necklines, our center fronts and center backs, and our side armhole. I think I like it this way better. And this is just straight. This is 1/2 inch. This has some slight curve, very slight. You notice how it goes slowly curving in? So we're just gonna try to, as much as possible, try to match it, but not everything. Just needs to, just a very slight curve, guys. Then it's, shoot, you know what, I don't like that. Shoot. That's a little too not, there you go. Yeah, there you go, that's better. And then it goes in and out, in and out. Same thing. You're gonna try to make it look, blend it in. And I know it's a lot of in and out, but just get used to it, because then this is when Hip curves are over there. Like this could be good hip curve. This is more on the French curve side of things because there's a major curve here, especially in the bust, especially in the apex. And we're just gonna blend it in. And this is when you have to use the different sides of your ruler. Well, after you see this, it's basically pretty straight. And now you can see the slide. This is where my waist is at, so I do know, and I actually do label it with W and I label A. So I make sure that's the case. Those are my notches. And from here to here, it's gonna be a very slight curve too, because it's just this section. And you can see it, there's a slight curve. And after the hip, that's when you just go straight. You don't have to do anything else, just go straight. There's no need, there's no curve, it's just gonna be a straight. Because also you want, when you do this, you also don't wanna make it so tight that she cannot walk. She needs to walk. So you can just go straight. After the hip, that's where her legs are at, just go straight, okay? Unless you're doing something else, like a Little Mermaid situation, but even then, she still needs to walk. So that's another conversation on your fabrics and what you can do. And then this is gonna be 1/2 inch. And I know it's gonna look a little weird for a little bit. And why am I doing this? The same way that we did the front bodice. We remember how we draped it and we trued it this way. This helps us know where we mark things. Same situation here. We wanna be, draping is about being as accurate as possible. And I know it seems like a long drape it is, but because it's a dress. And actually bring this one next week so we can give it a color and give it a sleeve. This is what we're gonna use for the sleeve and the color and stuff. Okay, and where are my scissors?
Behind that white thing.
Thank you. And oh yeah, this too. And you're gonna notice, I'm gonna also drape right now the back, and we'll leave it there, and I'm sorry, the side, and we're gonna leave it there. By the way, the good news is that the back, this section is so much easier. It just takes less than 5 minutes to mark it, to do it. It's always the bust, okay? Pretty sure you guys noticed that too, because I've noticed that everyone's getting more comfortable with darts now. Oh, actually, this is 1 inch. Sorry, guys. Keep doing the same mistake. I don't know why. There you go, 1 inch. I might have to tape my fabric. Little piece, and we're gonna put it back. Remember to match where you're where you actually use your tape. Mine is the top of the tape, so it's in the top of the tape. Already, you can see the shape. You already see it has fitting. It's fitting without even me putting it all on. Make sure you match the points that are always gonna matter. Your waist, your apex, always. That actually, if these are off, nothing's gonna fit. It's gonna be really bad. So, yeah, we're good. We're actually pretty good. We're gonna do is this. Right? It looks, everything's very smooth. Now we're gonna, sometimes that happens. You see how much is thoughted? Like it's too taut. So what we're gonna do is just snip. It's better. That's all you need to do. Snip it. Remember, it's a curve. It's like when you're sewing. When you're sewing curves, you snip it, right? You notch it. The same situation. It's a curve. All right. So up in the board there are some. I don't think you see it right now, but this is your next. How it should look like. Your next piece.
Are you gonna shoot the other one?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try it in a bit. I think that's between more you and I, but let's do this one first because I think most people did this, right?
I did that.
Okay, I'm gonna show you in a bit. After finishing, I'm gonna drape this portion. So then, this is what it should look like. You have a side panel. I'm sorry, this is for the side panel. You do the same thing. You go 11 inches, whatever you went from the top to the bottom, you still have your apex. And instead of doing that 1 inch, you're gonna do a middle. Okay? And I know this is basically just to see where the grains are at. We're only dealing with length grains only right now. I'm hoping that you guys might do, you see that? Now we're gonna match that apex line and it's gonna look beautiful. So this is the tricky part. You're not trying to match this line to the side seam. That's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to match this, let me show you. What you're trying to match this line to is the middle of the panel. And then while you match the middle, try it. It's okay if it's a little off. The main thing about this panel is that it cannot be like this. It needs to be perpendicular. And I know we did this in the first basic bodice and it's repeated again. And that's what I meant when I told you guys, you're gonna be practicing the same thing over and over again. So now, we make sure that it's in the middle and our apex line is running across the apex, which it is. And we're just gonna pin it. It just becomes a lot of fabric sometimes, so, but the good news is it goes faster. You notice how it's skewing? No. We need to make sure that this is straight and this is going straight. And this goes much faster too. So that I pin it in the sections that I really needed to be pinned. The apex, the waist, and some along in the hip line. This way it doesn't move. And as you can see, everything's straight and perpendicular, nothing is skewed. Now this is where the fun begins. You're gonna take your hand in the same, did I move something? And in the same way, you're gonna be, try to match your apex line as best as possible. Sometimes it just skews a little bit, but it's not the end of the world as long as this is ingrained, okay? It's okay. So you're gonna take your hand and you're gonna be pinning this just to help you out a little bit. And it's the same principle for anyone who's on this side, like that. The princess seam ends in the armhole. So first we're gonna just snip. Oh, small. Just gonna snip to the princess seam. Same thing. You can even like take out some sections now. You're just gonna. And that's it. Like you don't have to, and then you can see your markings. Already you can see the shape. This might pucker more. This apex might pucker more when you drape in it. And that's okay, because there's more shape You see how much more round that is on the side than the front? That's why. And that's okay. You're just gonna be snipping it and snipping it until like it's as good as it's gonna get. There's always gonna be that little too much fabric on that side, and that's fine. Then what we're gonna do is gonna slash the waist because that's the tightest, and you're just gonna pin it. Same thing here. We're gonna slash the waist, but without passing the seam, the same way, and this is actually much faster than the front. So yeah. We might have to snip a little bit more. So I want you to snip I have to snip here too. Just a lot of tension. Like here's pretty good. The side seam is not that bad. The side seam is just very basic. It's the section that it needs to be very curvy. You might not be able to make it super taut. That's okay. Just as long as good as it's gonna get. You can always release this and like try to see if you can bring the excess somewhere else. Sometimes it moves, sometimes it doesn't. I think for my size, looks like this is as good as it's gonna get. It's basically I'm slashing without passing the princess seam. Okay guys? But at the same time, if you see this, my line is still perpendicular. The only thing is that your hip is you will need to slash your hip. Is rounded. Anything rounded is gonna be slashed, automatically slash. You don't have to make this super tight. Remember, she needs to eat and drinky. And she needs to live. So there you go. That's basically it for now. And we're gonna stop here and then we're gonna true it. We're gonna true this and then do the side. We're gonna do this back. Okay?